Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me. For tea time today, we have a little bit of fireside. You know, I love that mistiness. Fireside is pretty good because it has a little bit of zing to it, but it also has the smokiness of the lap song. It's pretty good. If you like smoky, Fireside is definitely your tea. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or something today. We are live, and today we have Trevor with me. We're just kind of TGIF, hanging out. Thank God it's Friday, and just talking tech, talking photo, video, and I'm going to do a sneak peek, I guess, of a camera that I just bought and tell you why and go over some of the week's events with you. So anyways, Trevor, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome.
Hey, doing all right. How are you?
Good, not bad, not bad. We haven't done this in a few weeks, so it's always cool to be able to go on live and, if people are hanging out with us, they can ask us questions and, we kind of chit chat. I like to do this on Fridays, at the end of the week because, at that time, we could kind of take all of the events that happened during the week and kind of boil them down a little bit. The one thing that you haven't seen yet is a new camera that I just picked up. It
Yeah.
just came in. I just unboxed it this morning. It came in yesterday afternoon. So I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But before we get into it, I want to say that if any of you guys have not downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. Go over to jcristina.com/books. Once again, jcristina.com/books. There's a whole bunch there for you. You can get them once again for free, just hanging out with us today. So also, if for some reason you would like to come on with us, there is a little window that where that coffee mug is sitting there. Could be your face in there, and we could have a chit chat back and forth also. So, if you want to come online with us, if you have just a simple microphone and it could be a webcam, it really doesn't matter. You could. I'm going to put a link into the chat window here. If you go to that link, that goes into the J. Christina Green Room, and you can just hang out there and wait. And then hopefully, if all goes right, I would be able to bring you on to the show with us. Anyways, that all being said, Trevor, there's a bunch of stuff that went on today. One of the things that a lot of people were talking about was I did a short piece about the possibility of getting an EOS R7 and how that would be the equivalent to a EOS 7D or 7D Mark II replacement, but on the mirrorless side, because we see Canon has been doing that with everything. They've been replacing their cameras with mirrorless. It doesn't matter what it is. So, what do you think? I mean, you shoot Rebel right now for your stuff. Is that something you would look into an APS-C like like a 7D or now maybe an R7?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I mean, the amount of still photo work that I do now has become a lot less. Really, I just kind of shoot for fun.
Right.
Uh, the if I'm going to look at a new camera, it's going to be a camera that'll do fantastic video.
Right.
And that's really what I would be looking for. Um, the Rebel serves its purpose for my needs. The photos look great. It's an old camera, but I have the lenses for it, and I see no need to change to another photo camera. But I'm definitely interested in something new for video work.
Yeah, I think video is one of those places where a lot of people are looking for cameras today for video because a lot of
Yeah,
folks are becoming these hybrid shooters, right? Where they shoot
yeah,
photo and video. Like myself, um, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, so I do a lot of different things, and video is definitely one of them. I am a DP, so I'm a director of photography, and companies will hire me in to put sets together, figure out lighting, figure out lenses, figure out where talent will be, all the rest of the stuff that we do, as a DP, but that's on the video side. But then I also am a professional photographer for a couple of decades. So I shoot photos. So it could be fashion, it could be, celebrity, it could be, it just depends on what it is. And, I've been doing that, like I said, forever. And I also do audio and everything. So I am like the AV guy, right? Audio video
Yep.
guy, but
Yep.
more like audio visual guy. So it's everything. But yeah, I think today, a lot of folks are looking for those cameras that are hybrids, and a lot of the manufacturers are also putting out cameras that are very video centric, and the video almost, let's say, trumps the photo these days. Whereas like back
Yeah.
in the, when we were, doing this way back, 10, 15 years ago, it was always like megapixels, how many megapixels does your camera have? Oh, is that
Right.
it? And then
Right.
now
Right.
all of a sudden it's like, well, does your camera shoot 4K? Why the hell not? Every other camera is shooting, it's like, it's a camera,
Right.
not, a video recorder, but that's the way it is today. As of the advent of the EOS the Canon EOS 5D Mark II. I remember, and I think you do too. Remember Vincent? What was his Laforet, whatever.
Vincent Laforet. Yeah.
Laforet.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he started using that Canon 5D Mark II, let me see. I might even have. Let me. See. No. Do I have it? Oh, I do. Here you go, guys. So when he started shooting with this thing, this is Mark II, 3. This is a 2. So when he started shooting with this, it was like a major impact on the industry
Oh
because
yeah.
now all of a sudden people were able to do like professional, obviously 1080p videography with a camera that costs like a couple of grand in comparison to cameras that were like $200,000 and getting very similar results and being able to use full frame lenses with a full frame, camera. That was just
Right.
unheard of, absolutely unheard of. And
Yeah.
Vincent really did well, and he just solidified his name in history basically for doing so much work with that camera. You had like ER and a lot of major TV shows started using these little 5D Mark IIs. Why? Because they could pick up like 10 of them. They're like disposable. So
Yeah.
at a couple of grand was at $20,000. I mean, one camera was like $200,000 back then. So it was a big deal, a very big
Yeah.
deal.
And it took. I remember. I think House was one of the TV
Yeah,
shows,
absolutely.
and it allowed them to take the normal TV recording method, using their big cameras off to the sides and less mobile. And it allowed them to turn into something more cinematic where they could get in tighter with the camera. They could follow the person a little bit more. And it had a different look to it. It didn't have that kind of squishy look that the
Right.
TV cameras did. It had
Yeah.
more of this razor sharp look to it. So yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It was definitely revolutionary. I mean, I know for me personally, starting this fall, I'm going to be recording marching band and football again.
Oh, wow.
And the camera that I have, it did a fine job, but it's definitely an older camera, and I would like to update to something newer that will be better for for shooting. And that's why I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe an actual video camera may be the way to go, as opposed to I was looking at the ZVE10. You can't get those right now. They're still back ordered. Everything is back ordered. So I don't know if that's the best camera for the job. I do think maybe a traditional video camera would be better for that type of work.
Absolutely. No, it is true. It is true. There's always like that fine line between like what you're doing, like there is no perfect camera, obviously, but there is a perfect camera for each job that you're doing. And to know what that camera is so invaluable. I mean, like when we do fashion, we're shooting, maybe with like something like this, like a 1D, right? Or we're shooting if we need something extremely large, like for a magazine, and they're going to be pushing pixels around a lot. We'll shoot with like a Hasselblad or something, medium format that has a ton of pixels. I just did a celebrity shoot recently, and I shot that with I think a 5D Mark II or Mark III or something, because it was going to end up going not to press, so to speak, not into a magazine, but it was going to be
Right.
used for online. So, using the right tool is so important. I think that's why I have literally a dozen cameras and lenses and stuff, because there's not just one thing that just works. Getting back, round robining to the R7, I think the R7 is going to be a big deal when it is released, because I'm almost positive it will be released, because we see,
Right.
the 5D being replaced with the EOS R5, and then now of course we have the R6, replaced in the 60, and then most likely we'll have the R7 that replaces like a 70D. Do we have one of those here? Let me see. Yeah, here. So, or it's not a 70D, a 7D. So this is a 7D. We got a 7D Mark II also. This is the regular 7D. But so the R7 will replace this beast. And what's nice about this is a lot of birders and sports shooters and whatnot, they use these because they can throw on a, let's say a 500 millimeter lens, a 400 millimeter lens or something. And with the 1.6 crop factor, now you're all of a sudden you're in there a lot deeper. You're up to 600, 700 millimeters without having to put in a teleconverter and now lose a stop of light, sometimes two stops of light. Depends on what you're using or how good the teleconverter is. So that was really big. So I think that a lot of people that are, sports shooters and people that do like that extra reach, we'll look into an R7. And what I was saying in that video is that I do believe that in comparison to them using, EF-S or digital, or as you would call it, APS-C lenses, I think what they're going to do is they're going to just take a page right out of Sony's playbook and use simply RF lenses on the R7. So it doesn't even matter. What it's going to do is, yes, you'll have a full frame lens on the front, but it'll only crop, it'll take the inners of that lens. And if you know the math and you know lenses and how this stuff works, the best portion of every lens is in the middle anyways. So I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. And, so, I mean, is that something that you would look into, an R7 APS-C and move that way instead of full frame, or are you looking more into full frame?
No, I'm okay with APS-C. I think APS-C for the type of work that I do is plenty. Micro Four Thirds, I would never use that. I honestly, there's just no reason to.
Right.
There's plenty of choices in the APS-C format, and full frame is great if you need full frame. And I personally don't really need full frame. I mean, that's why I said, the Rebel camera that I have, that thing is old and it's only APS-C, but it still does a great job. I mean, it takes every bit as good of a picture today as it did when it first came out.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. I mean, you may not be getting the added benefits of what new technology has to offer, but that doesn't mean that the technology that was in it is no longer functional.
Right.
I mean, if you're having a mechanical problem, I mean, that's one thing, I'm sure.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I would consider, like I said, I'm kind of open to anything. It's price and availability that really comes down to a lot of it. How expensive is the equipment, and is it available?
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Like that Sony camera is still on back order. Like I said, it's crazy.
Just a second ago, Wayne wrote in there, and he was saying how basically, the channel's been around for a long time, and what he was saying is there's no actual hands-on stuff or field work. Like when I'm out in the field doing the work that I do, and it's simply just me having a cup of coffee, hanging out and talking with you guys, and I can appreciate that because that's really what ends up happening.
Sure.
The problem that I have is many of the jobs that I do are NDA'd. So what ends up happening is number one, I can't show the pictures, and number two, I really can't talk about them. So it makes it difficult to be able to show. I would literally have to do gigs specifically for YouTube, for this channel. Like bring in some models from Model Mayhem or something and just shoot some or whatever in comparison to doing, like a fashion designer's, new look that's coming out in spring. I couldn't show it. Just last week, we were shooting with a TV celebrity, and obviously we can't show that. So it makes it very difficult. So what I try doing with this channel is, without actually being on location, I try talking about stuff as much as I can, and then
Sure.
give you, the listener, my 2 decades of doing this perspective. I'm not right all the time. Many times I'm wrong, and a lot of the great people that are watching, they'll call me out on it, and I appreciate it. So it is a back and forth type of thing. It's not like me being a guru sitting here telling you exactly what to do, what to buy, or whatever. I'll just give you my thoughts on something, and then you be the judge. I'm not selling you a product like I just did. Matter of fact, we're using an RE20 right now, but I have this newer, or newer, whatever, I don't know, this other mic over here, and we have a few other mics and a Rode, and we have all these mics, and sometimes I'll do these tests. Like I think the last video I did this test where I didn't even review the mic at all. I let you guys review the mic. So
Right.
I just kept swapping back between the two mics, and then sometimes people would come back in the comments and be like, yeah, I like the newer, the newer mic. Oh, I still like the RE20, the Electro Voice. Obviously, it's a broadcast mic.
Right.
So, I don't, once again, like, I don't have an association with Electro Voice. I don't have an association with Rode, or with, small rigs, or with this newer mic or whatever. So I just, I hope the people can appreciate that I'm not pushing a product to them. I'm telling them, my experience with them, and that's it. And then you kind of be the judge, and if you like it or you don't like it, and that's it, kind of thing. So, but anyways, we also, did you watch any of those videos where I had the switching between the mics?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched that last night, and the difference between the two was really not detectable, not for me. Watching it, so I had it up on the smart TV. I got a 70-inch TV now. I'm psyched. I can
Right.
sit back like I'm in a movie theater, and I'm watching Joe's big head with these microphones going back and forth. And honestly, I mean, they both sound really, really good. I mean, almost identical. I'm sure that maybe in the waveform you can see some difference, or maybe if you're with earphones on and you're really listening close, or you had them both like right in front of your mouth, I mean, you might be able to pick up some differences. But I tell you, the way you were doing it, the position of both those mics, I mean, they both sounded great.
Yeah.
And
No,
I mean, I'm finally using my RE20 again. I had it was all jacked up. I had the DBX was all back where I couldn't get to it. The settings were all screwed up, and it sounded like garbage. So the last couple of videos that I've been on with you guys, I've been using a USB mic, and it does the job. It's fine. But I do like the sound of this. Now, how this is coming through in the live stream, I don't know, because you always have, the digitization of the
right.
sound and all of that coming through the stream. So it may not sound much better than the other mic that I've been using. But I tell you what, when I record onto my H4n and I listen to it in headphones, this thing sounds great.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I love the Electro Voice, the RE20. I mean, it is a broadcast mic. I mean, it's the mic that Rush Limbaugh used all of his life, pretty much. In solid gold. Obviously, he had it gold plated, but it's always been in radio, and we've used it behind the scenes for recording and stuff, of singers in the past, especially if they're low end in comparison to high end. It just depends. And once again, just like the cameras, mics have a personality of their own. And for your voice, you might end up with a microphone that's half the price of a more expensive one,
Right.
but the way you articulate, the way you form the words that come out of your mouth, they sound different. And the frequencies that you're putting out, some of these microphones are better in the low end, some of them are better in the mid, some of them better in the high. And getting the right mic is very important, and it's not the most expensive. How many
Right.
YouTubers you see out there that are using like a Shure SMB or an SM, one of SM, what is it, the 7B? But like, why is it? And the reason being is because they all just follow the leader and say
Yeah.
that this SM7 is the way to go. And it's not. It's the way to go. If that's for your voice, it might be the way to go. You know, it might be the way to go instead of spending, $300-400 to spend $100 and you'll be good. I mean, these newer, I got 2 microphones for $97.
Yeah, that's
And they
great.
literally, once they're put into post-production, you add EQ and some compression. I mean, it's so damn close to the RE20. The RE20, if you listen in the mids, you do get a little bit more detail. Whereas with the newer, they're kind of drowned out a little bit, a little muddy. But that's it. I mean, but for 10 times the cost. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Let me see here before we go any further. Let me just look into the comments here and answer any kind of
Well, while you're
comments.
looking there, one thing
Go
I
ahead.
can say about the microphone is, years ago, when Joe and I first started doing our digital photography cafe podcast, we both started out with USB mics, and that's the USB mic that I have right now. It's a Samsung CO1, I believe. So it was like the first generation. I think you had the CO2, if
Yeah, I
I
remember that.
remember
Yeah, yeah,
correctly.
yeah. I still have it. I can
And
see it.
yeah, and I
That
use
thing
it
is
every
awesome.
day. Yeah, it is. I use it every day. I use it for Skype calls. I use it when I'm on Zoom or whatever because it gives me that speakerphone type of environment. I can move around. I don't need to be right on top of it.
Right.
Then we upgraded to the RE20s with the DBX compressors, and that really changed the
Oh, it changed
sound of
everything.
everything. And
Do you have a
it
picture of us, like when we were live broadcasting from the Javits Center? I always talk about us doing this, and I can never
yeah,
find shit.
you know what? It pops up.
We had so many pictures, and I don't know
Yeah,
where the hell they went. I don't know. If you
it
find
pops
one
up
before we're done, throw it into Scott. No, throw it over
over
into
on Discord.
Discord, and then I'll put it up on the screen. I mean, obviously we were a lot younger back then, but so we used to go and we would set up a booth at WPPI at Photo Plus Expo. I'm going to talk to you guys about Photo Plus Expo in just a second. This would be a good transition. Photo Plus Expo, which would be in NYC, in New York City, and we were at the Javits Convention Center. And we would set up a booth. I mean, these are like, what, 10, 15 grand or something for a damn booth. It's expensive. And then what
Very
we'd do
expensive.
is we would bring in all of the CEOs of the different companies, Canon and Panasonic and all that. We bring the CEOs would come over to our booth. We would have all the movers and shakers. They would come to the booth and we would broadcast live. And we would do this every single year at multiple locations. Once again, from New York City to Las Vegas, at the MGM. And we would do this, and this was like our thing. Anyways, this now I want to kind of go into a little bit about the whole idea of these conventions. I've done a piece about this about a year ago, and I said the conventions are going belly up.
Yeah.
Many years ago, PMA, remember PMA? They kind of brought us into about 20 of us, thinkers basically, that were in the industry to try to save PMA. And PMA had a massive, massive following. And they also had a thing just like we would see at the Javits Center, a huge photo show, more on the size of like a photo keynote. Well, they went belly up. Well, about a year ago, I did a piece. I said, all of these conventions will be going the way of the dinosaur, the way of the dodo bird, because people are not going. And then the whole COVID thing happened. Oh, I said it. That's it. We're banned.
Yeah.
So anyways, all of that happened. And when it happened, there was like nothing. Everything shut down. And we see that a lot of these conventions they've folded. Well, we just got a letter that came in because obviously we're press, right? So a lot of the things that happen, we'll get press notification of it so that they can send us our badges and then we can go and cover the events. But obviously we're not covering these events as of late because half of them are never happening. And a lot of them have been going virtual, which sucks. So,
Right.
anyways, so we get a letter, and it says Photo Plus Expo embraces new identity as Create NYC relocates to Brooklyn to welcome creator community. It says after 2 years of in-person event cancellations due to the COVID-19 pandemic, now I'm really banned. Photo Plus is proud to return this year as Create NYC, powered by Photo Plus, to be held from September 29th through October 1st, 2022. The three-day event leaves the Javits Center, or the Javits Center, I guess it's Jacob Javits Center Convention Hall, and moves to the, what is it, Dugal, I guess it is, Dugal Greenhouse, the Dugal Greenhouse in Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
Now, they follow up by saying the photography industry's premier trade show morphs into a festival experience. Create NYC immerses attendees in anything and everything image culture. It celebrates all visual storytellers whose work crosses various platforms, expresses shared experiences, inspires dialogue for change. Do we need dialogue for change?
Always.
And blurs the lines between art and cultural relevance. Basically, what all that means is we're screwed and we're going out of business.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what that all means. So let me bring up the Dugal. Hold on. Let me see. Here it is. Let me share my screen with you guys. You see this? I'm going to try to stick us at the bottom so you can see us too. So this is the Dugal, Dugal, I guess it is, greenhouse as they call it. It is probably, Trevor, do you think about a tenth, maybe, of the Javits?
Yeah.
A 20th? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's very small in comparison.
Okay.
You know, it's cool looking for what it is. I mean, it's this open warehouse space that you can, have your event there. You can build it out however you want. They do trade shows there. They
Right.
do other types of events, car shows and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously significantly smaller. I mean, it's funny. You said look for the photos, so I'm on my Amazon photos that archives everything, and of
Right.
course I can't find the photo of us.
This happens all the time
actually
for
brought,
me. Yeah.
bro, all the time. It pops up every year at the same time, and I always send it to you in text message. I'm like, oh, 2012, and but I'm looking right now, so I have photos here from Photo Plus Expo, October of 2010.
Uh-huh.
So that was the first year
That
that
was.
you and I met. We were chatting on social media. We were
Right.
chatting through Twitter. We had
Twitter.
connected with similar people in the photo community.
Right.
And I was going in to talk on a panel
Yeah.
with a couple of our friends, a social media panel, and I was kind of the website leg of that panel.
Yeah, who did we have? We had Ross Sillers on that one. We
Lindsay
had
Adler.
Lindsay Adler was on that one.
Jack Hollingsworth.
Jack Hollingsworth. Yeah, he was on that one.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, so you're looking at what, 12 years ago now or something. So yeah, if you can find it, send over the pictures. I can never find it. I tell people about this, but it's like, I don't know. It's like vaporware, You just never know, it's hard to show. Just like Wayne said, I never seen you actually do any work. You just sit here and talk,
Yeah,
And that's basically what I do. I sit here and talk. But
you know what? But that's what YouTube is. So, you were
Yeah.
saying before, and I wanted to comment about that. I mean, you have to keep in mind that a lot of the other big YouTubers out there with big channels and stuff, they also have relationships with camera companies.
Yeah.
And these camera companies send them cameras for review units. They get a week or two with it. They bring it in the studio. They take all these pictures. They do all this stuff. They spend days with it. They put in an incredible amount of time, because the amount of time they put into it directly reflects the relationship they have with that camera company.
Absolutely.
They half-ass it, that camera company is not going to send them another camera.
Absolutely.
So, they go in, they produce these videos, and they try and get, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 views of these videos.
Right.
And they're, not to say that they're bait clicking, but I mean, that's what it is. I mean, they're they're in there with this new camera because they're doing a
It's
review and they
very
want to
hard
get
to
views.
do. It's very hard to do an unbiased review when you're getting paid for it, or when,
Correct.
I'm not going to name any names, but when you're you're being flown to, an island somewhere to go review a camera.
Right.
How are you going to be, unbiased when, they just spent 10 grand for you to get there and room and board and all the rest of the stuff? It makes it very, very difficult. Yes,
Yeah.
you might give a couple of negatives here and there, but you're going to be very soft
Yep.
in comparison to, actually buying something and then doing a review on it. You're like, yeah, this is just complete crap. Anyways, let me
Yeah.
get into, while you're doing that, let me get into a couple of these questions. Let's see. Paras from the Philippines says, I am lucky enough to be living in Dubai. And they said that photography is frowned on here, so virtually impossible to film anywhere with something professional. Basically, you have to use small point shoots or something so that it doesn't look like you're doing it professionally because it's frowned upon. And it says, so I picked up the Sony EV10 at the Sony shop. Awesome camera. Matter of fact, right now I am recording, or actually broadcasting now, with the Sony, what is it? The EV1, VV1, ZV1. Yeah, ZV1. So the ZV1, I guess this would be the equivalent to like the little brother to the EV10. The EV10 would be like this camera, a vlogging camera, but instead of having the built-in lens like this one does, it has interchangeable lenses. So the EV10 is an awesome camera. I would highly recommend it, especially if you want something small, form factor, and be able to swap out lenses. David Sutton says, why does the industry think that APS-C R7 is coming and will be a big thing when Canon has a very popular M camera, right? And I get this. Is the R7 just a US market ploy? So, David, the M series feels like it might be going away. They just discontinued, I think it's the M6 Mark II or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Quote me, but do your own research. The
Joe said it's going away.
Yeah, it's going away. So I wish it wouldn't. I think the M50 is awesome. I think the M50 Mark II, awesome. But once you have an R7 in the mix, okay, so they could keep it, but now you have to continue making M glass. And over the course of the M series, they have not made a lot of M glass. There's some, but it's weak, right? There should be a lot more if they're going to keep it. So I don't know. I think I'm on the fence with it. I'm leaning more towards them getting rid of the M series once an R7 or an APS-C based camera comes out that uses RF lenses, and now we're going to use the same lens on all of them. But there's something to be said about having something that is lightweight, that is pocketable, or at least you can travel with it, that doesn't have a fixed lens. Just like that EV10 from Sony. I think Canon should really keep the M series. Will they? I don't know. I'm leaning towards no, but I'm hoping they will, because it is a great platform. And they've made a ton of money with that camera. I mean, a ton.
The M series is popular with creators. You know, it's a good, I mean, what is it? The Mark II, I think.
Yeah, the Mark II.
Is the one that is best for creators, for, YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers that want to shoot, good quality video. One of Canon's hangups has always been they're not able to deliver clean HDMI through the output. And I believe it was the Mark II that allows you to do that now. So you can use that as a live streaming camera even. So a lot of people are using these in studio setups. So I definitely think they have their place in the market. I mean, from a video production standpoint, I think they have a place in the market for creators. They're inexpensive, and they're comparable to the Sonys, the ZV1 and the E10. But I mean, they got to weigh out their production costs, their R&D, the manufacturing, and all that stuff. As to whether or not it's worth keeping this model alive or changing to the the R series and just killing
Yeah,
things.
no, it's a decision. I think it's ECA, I believe. I don't know. It says APS-C can be enough, but why bother with APS-C when it's not better or cheaper? And I guess they're relating it to full frame, and APS-C. I mean, I get what you're saying. So APS-C is nice if you want that crop factor, if you want that extra reach. Also, with APS-C, it's a hell of a lot easier for a camera manufacturer to do 8K, for example, smaller sensor, right?
Right.
It's easier also on the electronics, less heat, smaller sensor. It gives you that extra reach that you don't get on a full frame. There's and then once again you're using the innards of the lens, which is the best part of the lens. So there is positives, and a lot of people, and then also frames per second. If you can get, let's say, 10 frames per second with APS-C, you could probably get 15. Once again, there's less information. It's smaller.
Right.
So there's a lot of reasons for APS-C, and I personally think APS-C is probably the best format out there for just about everything. I only, for the most part, I'm shooting full frame, but I think that there is definitely a place for it. I don't think it's going to be going
Yeah.
away for sure. And I do think an R7 will show up. Talking about cameras now, I said I was going to give you a sneak peek of something that I just bought. So let me give you a backstory. We shoot a lot of the pro stuff on Hasselblad, or we'll shoot on like a 1D, body, or maybe a 5D, 5D Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, whatever. And the question was always, why didn't you buy a R5 and then just replace all of your 5Ds? It's like, I got a bunch. Well, it was a really good question. And what I ended up buying is the equivalent to a 5D Mark IV, but in mirrorless. And people are like, what the hell? Joe's doing mirrorless now? That's rare. Well, I ended up getting this camera. There it is. See this little tiny guy here? So as you can see, it's an R. This isn't an R5. It's not an R6. It's not the R3, obviously. It's not an RP. This is simply the R. So why did I do this, right? Why did I do this? Well, I needed to get another camera, and I was thinking about getting a 5D Mark IV as a replacement to one. As you guys know, I was fixing one and everything went well, but you always have to think about it. It's like, is it going to be working? Is it not? So I was going to pick up a 5D Mark IV. Well, let me bring up on the screen here so you get an idea of why I did this. Let me see here. There we go, guys. So is the screen popping up? I think it is. Yeah. Are we popping up? We are. So if we take a look at this, this is the R, what I just bought, and the next to it is the R, is the 5D Mark IV. And as you can see, it is the exact same sensor used on this camera. You see that? I'm going to highlight it in yellow. It uses the same sensor. Now, obviously, your flange distance is 20 millimeter in comparison to 44 millimeter, but obviously because you have a mirror in the 5D Mark V. But if you look at everything else, CMOS, obviously, it's the same sensor, the same everything, the image size, all of this is going to remain the same. Why? Because it's the same exact sensor. We have a Digix 8 in comparison to the Digix 6 Plus. You see that there. We can shoot 47 images. That's to instead of a CF card, it is a US card, like a USC 2 card. And then we have the sensitivity is now expanded slightly from 100 to 40,000. Now we're sitting at 32,000. That's obviously having to do with some of the processing within the camera, and that's it. But if we look down here, there's a couple of things that are standout. Obviously, we have an OVF on the 5D where we have an EVF. I'm not a fan of EVFs, but it is what it is. Right. But now if we look down, we have only one card slot. That is a problem for me, being a professional and using this professionally, but most of the time I'm shooting two cameras almost always for all shoots. So I don't have to worry about having two cards because I'm actually having two cameras and they normally have two different lenses on them, and I'm doing it specific for that. But anyways, so that wasn't really a big issue to me. Also, that I liked about this is it's getting 8 frames per second in comparison to 7 frames per second. And we have 5,000 plus AF points compared to 61 AF points, right? And we just go straight down the list. This camera will actually do 422 10-bit instead of 422 8-bit. Now, if they both have a crop factor of 1.74. That is a crazy crop factor when you're talking about like 4K or something and you're getting in there and you got like double crop factor. And that was one of the problems. Let me get back to that. The resolution of the back screen, you got 2 million compared to, let's say, 1.5 million. You do have a battery issue of 900 shots with the 5D, whereas you get only 350 to 500, let's say, with this new camera. But now, guys, the thing is, once again, when it goes in, when we're talking about this crop factor, and that was like the major issue that a lot of people had. Why would you want something with such a big crop factor if you're going to do video with it? Well, I'm probably just going to do photo with it, but if I do video, all right, as you can see, I have the adapter on here already. We have to have the adapter, right? Because I have so much, I have tens of thousands of dollars of EF mount over there, so we need to be able to mount something to it. My understanding is, don't quote me once again, do your due diligence. My understanding is, if you take, let me see, this is an 80D? 90, this is an 80D, right? So if you pop this lens off, right? Remember, you're getting a ton of a crop on this, right? And these lenses are EFS lenses, so they're already cropped in. How much? Like 1.7, right? Somewhere on there, 1.6. So if we marry these two together, okay, we put these two together, it is my understanding, not sure 100%, this is an 18 millimeter. I'll literally be on 18 millimeter with this after the crop because they're almost identical crops. I'm going to test it and I'm going to do a proper video on that to see if that is the case. Because if that is the case, I mean, problem solved. So if I want to do video, I'll just, pull off one of the EFS lenses that I have. I got pancake lens somewhere. I got all kinds of EFS lenses, which are pretty much plastic. I mean, look at the flange. Look at the backside of this. I mean, it's just plastic garbage, but it does a good job. It's not bad. It's not a hella horse shit. It's kind of, but it's not bad. So if you marry the two, that might be a way to be able to get around that crazy crop factor, especially doing like 4K with it. So I'm going to test it out, guys, and I'm going to report back to you. But for photography, being that the camera itself has the exact same sensor as a 5D Mark II, I said, well, why get the 5D Mark II when I can get this? Even though this is a couple of years old, the 5D Mark II was like triple, as old. I figured, well, you might as well get this. You got the exact same sensor, and I end up in the mirrorless game a little bit. The reason I didn't get the R5 is because I'm waiting for the replacement to the 1D, the Beast, right? Which would be an R1. So we'll see what happens with that. The R1 is going to be $6,000-$7,000, but remember,
it's going to be expensive.
With this camera, guys, the 5D Mark IV refurbished from Canon is like $2,000. This camera refurbished from Canon was $1,299. I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer to me.
Yep.
I mean, I'm saving $800. I can go throw it into a piece of RF glass if I want to. I have some skin in the game when it comes to mirrorless. I'm not a fan, especially of the EVF compared to OVF, but it just wouldn't make sense for me to replace, one of the 5D Mark IVs, even though I need one. So, I don't know, guys. We'll see. What do you guys think? What do you think? But I'm going to do a video on this. What do you think, Trevor?
Yeah, well, Stuart says he's got 2 of the R's. So if you have any questions about it, contact him.
There you go. There you go.
But,
I appreciate that. Yeah. So,
you know what? I'm a big fan of buying refurb, directly from the factory.
Oh yeah, you get a year's warranty, from it, and you can get it extended if you want.
It's going to be just as good. Yep, it's going to be just as good. And if there's a problem with it, you send it back and they get you another one. I bought my Mac Pro and the Cinema Display monitor back in 2006, refurb, for a lot cheaper, so much cheaper. And I'm still using this monitor right now. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it's a great monitor. The machine still works. I just don't use it because it's old.
Right, right.
But it still works. So I'm a firm believer in refurb. I mean,
Yeah.
You let somebody else, take the depreciation.
I just
And,
figured that, I save the coin so that I can put it into an R1 because that's really where I need to be for the most part. The rest of the stuff, I mean,
Sure.
I have so many cameras, guys. You
gotta sell some of those things.
yeah, I literally have like a 10D, 20D, 30D, 40D. So all of those, the bases, at the very beginning, and 7D, 70 Mark, all of the five. I got the first 5D. I got the first 1D ever made. So I got just a ton of this stuff. So I don't know. I just didn't want to put more coin into something that is a dead end. Whereas we know everything is going mirrorless. If you like it or if you don't like it, that's just the way it is. So let's get to some of these questions here. Let's get to some of these. Have you looked at some of them? You want to bring a couple of them up?
Yeah, I've been scanning.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I see Redneck Tech says that he loves the PR40. Love the PR40. Absolutely great. Let's see. Okay, Starlink. Truly appreciated. Thank you, Redneck, for that. The Starlink stuff. I've been putting out a lot of Starlink stuff because people have wanted it. I know there's people that are on the channel that only want the photo and video stuff, which is fine. But I've always been photo, video, and tech. So, sometimes I'll do, something about building a RAID array, an unRAID server. I wrote a book, how to create a digital Fort Knox, backing up your digital life. Teaches you how to, back up as a creative. We're making just a crap ton of data, right? Where do you put it securely? So I teach you how to make an unRAID server based on an old PC that you might have laying around. So, that kind of stuff. So I like the tech. That's kind of who I am. I'm a system administrator also. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I do on a regular basis. So I appreciate that with the Starlink. I really like to cover it because not only is it really effective and helpful for me. Right now, we're broadcasting live with Starlink, but it's been a life-changing type of thing. And someone said something about ambassadors. Don't believe or don't follow the ambassadors, and that is 100% the case. And I'm not an ambassador for these people. Yeah, great if they threw me some money for how many people probably bought Starlink just from listening to me. But I truly believe in it. It's something different that when someone is giving you information and when they're just full of crap. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. I mean, to tell. But so I just give you my back end story, and I come across as not a guru, and I just tell you what I've learned as I learn it. And a lot of people in the Starlink community have definitely appreciated. So I'm going to keep doing those. Also,
I think in general, people don't want to learn from gurus. Gurus are highly overrated.
Yeah.
They want to learn from people that they can connect with, people like them that may have a little bit more knowledge than they do, and they're willing to share it freely and help them improve with what they're doing. When you find a guru, those gurus want money. They want to get paid for their work, and they're going to get paid one way or another. You're either going to pay them as the consumer, or they're going to be paid by somebody else to share their information with you. So you got to take what it's worth when you look at some of these people that seem like they got all this experience and stuff on YouTube and wherever.
Right.
They're, because you look a little deeper, they're always trying to sell you something.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and I get it. I mean, I sell my products. I'm not selling other people's products. I'll put some stuff that if I don't, like if it's, a mic or something, I'll put an Amazon link. So if you buy it, I'll make 50 cents and I'll tell you that I make 50 cents. But whatever, right. The majority of the stuff, I'm not hawking, other people's products besides my own, the stuff that I've invented.
You put a ton of time into this channel.
Yeah.
And, if you think about, if you had the same amount of hours that you were working a day job, making a professional wage, right? Not some flipping burgers at the hamburger joint. I mean, you would probably be making more money with the day job.
Don't piss me off, Trevor. Don't piss me off.
But you're doing this because you love to do it,
No, I do.
and you love to share your information, you love to share your experience, and I mean
Absolutely.
that's why I did it too. You
Yeah.
know, my when we were doing DPC, like I really loved doing the show. For me, it became those dollars for hours. I mean, I had more and more work coming in,
Right.
and it I couldn't justify taking my hours, my working hours, to continue investing like we were in DPC when I
Yeah.
had projects that needed to be
Yeah,
done.
I mean, sometimes I'm recording these things like in the wee early mornings,
Right, right,
just to get it out the next day, because I just love to do it. Because the day before, I had a shoot and I was on set for the entire day, either doing a build out, as a grip, or doing, uh, you know, video work as as just a cam op dude, or actually doing the full build out as a DP, or doing the
right.
photographer or whatever. So there's always like so many different roles, and it depends on what we're working on. So sometimes I have to do these early in the morning, but I love it. I really do love it. And I appreciate all of the warm responses that I get. I mean, there's very few trolls on here, and I think I've had to ban someone, like, God, I think once, like in the last 2 months, I think, because they were just nasty.
Yeah,
Let me see here in the comments. Moshev 20 says, "What a great answer, man! After the first episode you watch, it's very easy to see what kind of show it is. You either
yep.
like it and subscribe, or bounce. For the most of us, keep it up. I still want a R5C. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, an R5C is a camera that I predicted that was going to be coming out, and what I call it is that crossover or bridge camera between proper, let's say, photo hybrid, and true video. So, all of the R series stuff, your R5, your R3, your R6, maybe an R7 coming out, maybe an R1, they're all proper photo with video, right? So hybrids. Whereas Canon C series, C100, C200, 300, 500, 700, we use like the 300s mostly. But you can go all the way up to the 700s, which are like $30,000. Anyways, they are purpose built Canon cameras. They use like EF glass, or you can use Cine glass, whatever. But they have active cooling, for example. They have an inlet, they have an
Right,
exhaust, they have a fan in it. They shoot 4K. You can shoot just all day long. You can shoot episodic TV and never hit stop.
right.
Anyways, so the R5C is that bridge between the R5 and the C series. So it is like an R5 with a fan in it. Obviously there's a lot more to it. I did a video on it a while back. Check that out. But yeah, it's a very cool camera, and I think that it is definitely a bridge to bring people into even a baseline C series camera. If they do a lot of video, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, you
Yeah,
cannot beat it. You could literally record 8 hours straight, just swapping cards, and not have to worry about those cameras running. That's it. 4K.
yeah.
Just full blast. Let's see what else we have. We have Stuart, of course. Hi, mate. I appreciate you being here, stopping by. Thank you so much. Stuart was on the show a couple of lives ago. Thank you for stopping by. Movie and Photography says COVID just accelerated the trend. Yes, and we were talking about back then is the trend of the conventions basically going the way of the dodo bird, and that's what they're doing. Let's
Yeah.
see. Any other ones you see here? I'm going to keep on rolling through them. Let's see. We have one here that says,
COVID,
go ahead.
yeah, the pandemic that affected so many of these live events. I mean, a lot of my customer base for the website stuff, they are associations,
Right.
and one of the primary offerings that these associations have is in-person events.
Right.
Like within the healthcare industry, one of my clients, that was like insult to injury.
Uh-huh.
They're an association for healthcare professionals, and their primary benefit for their membership is live events. So they had to cancel live events. All the healthcare professionals are all working like
Right.
crazy, and they took a massive hit. They
Oh
took
yeah.
a, they're still in business, but they took a massive hit. So many of these shows have either shut down or scaled way back. And I think the scaling down is what we're seeing with this Photo Plus. I mean, they're
Absolutely.
rather than keeping it Photo Plus and just making it
Oh
really
my God.
small,
Yeah.
that would devalue the trade show. So
Yeah, they
let's
won't do it.
rename it. Yep, let's rename it. Let's refocus it. They'll have a handful of vendors in there, I'm sure, but all
Right.
of their stuff is going to be focused around the experience. And
Right.
honestly, guys, I mean, for you that are watching the show right now, you're watching because of the experience of being
Yeah.
able to interact with Joe and myself and each other. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Right.
So the experience is everything. And these trade shows that became so big, and were so expensive, people went there for the experience of walking the floor, the experience of the seminars, the
Yeah.
experience of the workshops and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like shaking hands, and actually having the
Yeah,
interactions. I can't tell you how many, gigs we've gotten and, relationships we've made
absolutely.
over the years, working these events. Um, you know, I loved it. I loved it. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So let me see.
Yeah.
Ekta says mics really are very important, but what if people just don't hear the difference? And they were also talking about same thing with photo, with the video where they're watching on like a 16-inch laptop, and that is the case.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like I was saying before, YouTubers will go out there and buy, like an RE20 here for $500 because they think it's going to help them. The reason I'm using it is because, what Trevor and I were doing when we were doing basically radio, we were doing live broadcasts, but a lot of it was being listened to back then in the day, and it needed to sound good, and we were actually lapelling the guests, or we were bringing them on, other mics, but the
Right.
bottom line here is we needed the best of the best. We needed compressors. We needed everything on the fly. We weren't doing it in post because it was live. So that's why I have this.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, look, I mean, we can use one of these. Check this thing out, right? What is this? This is the Rode, like a Rode shotgun mic. That thing will do the trick without
Yeah.
any problem, right? They'll work fine. But the
You've
thing
you've
is,
got people using their phones and using the
yeah,
built-in
you don't
mic
need
on their
all that
phone,
stuff.
and they're holding it an arm's length away in a room or whatever, and that mic sounds just fine.
Good
And you
enough.
can go when
Yeah.
you're editing the video, you can pump up that volume a little bit
Yeah.
on the
Pull
audio,
out a
and
little
it's
bit of noise, a little echo, whatever, and you're good.
everybody's watching videos on their phones today or their tablets or whatever, so it's small. I mean, I may be a unique case where I'll sit at nighttime and watch YouTube videos on the 70-inch screen
Right.
because everybody went to bed, and it's stuff I can't watch during the day. It's the fun stuff, the off-roading and four-wheel stuff, and I love that stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see what else we have here. We have Alex is a bit disappointed with the R6. Yeah, some people are disappointed with the R6. I agree. Um, he also says a smaller form factor or the form of the M series is great for casual as well as pro. And yeah, and that's why I hope that they don't, Alex, get rid of the M series. I think that every manufacturer needs to have, I hate to call it a loss leader, but let's say a means to get people onto the platform and then upsell them. Okay, a way to get that. Like a perfect example was Sony with their A7 III. They lost money, I think, with that camera. I mean, at the time
Yeah.
when it was 1999, just under $2,000, when everyone else was like just crazy priced and stuff. I mean, Sony brought so many new blood, or so much new blood into the platform with the A7 III. It's crazy.
Oh
The
yeah.
same thing with Canon with their M series. Their M series, and people don't know this. Everyone thought that, like, Sony is like the number one mirrorless seller and all this stuff. No, Canon was the number one mirrorless seller. Why? Because the M series, their
Right.
M50, all their everything, M5, M6, but their M50 especially, and now the M50 Mark II, sold more units than like any other mirrorless camera. A ton. It made them so much money. It's crazy. And that's why I think that they'll be hard pressed to get rid of the M series. Now they did discontinue, what was it, the M6 Mark II, I think I said earlier. That could be, don't quote me, but you can, I suppose. But that could mean that they're coming out with a new one. That doesn't mean that they're going to discontinue the line. I hope they don't, but like I said before, I feel like they might. It's a hard one. It's a hard call.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Dolvian Photography says you can even have a crop factor with full frame with croc mode. Absolutely, if you want to get in there and use the innards of the lens, which I do recommend for a lot of people that they don't realize it. The outer circumference of any lens is going to be the least sharp. You're going to get, the most problems of any lens is always on the outer, outskirts of the lens.
Right.
Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. We have Alex says, got great pics from the M6 with an EFL 70-200. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you're taking an M6, a little tiny, little camera, and you got a 70 an L 70-200 that costs $2,500. So
Costs more than the camera.
glass is everything. Glass is everything. Let's see. Stuart says, yeah, he has two of those, which obviously is the EOS R that we just picked up. If you guys just came aboard, I just grabbed this camera. And I will do a proper video on this shortly. But I want to do some testing first. It just got here last night, so we'll see. Let's see, coming down here, are you seeing any that are popping up? Hey, Rob. How you doing, bud? John is here. Drummond, how are you doing, my friend?
So David had a great suggestion, David Sutton. He said, I'd love to see a certified photo class instead of online courses. Think Peter Hurley and his photo school. You've already established a JCristina brand. Why not a certified class for photo? And sure, I think that's a great idea. And I even said that in the comments.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that'd be, I like that. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, I love teaching. So my thing with teaching is, if you don't understand what I'm showing you and teaching you, then I don't understand it, right? So it needs to be very, very simplistic and to the point and basic. And that's one of the reasons why people have been enjoying my coverage on Starlink, is because I've really been boiling the shit down. I mean, just in plain English. I'm just boiling it down and just telling you what you need to know. And sometimes it takes me a while to, get to the point because I suck at my job. But I just, I talk a lot, and then, I have ADD, so I'm like off, and there'll be like a butterfly coming by, and I'll grab some chopsticks and I'll just
Squirrel.
do this, squirrel or something, and then I'll lose it, and then I'll pick back up. So I apologize for that. But I do think that, the idea of a certified, I think that's all great and all, but who certifies it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you like the way I teach, then, you would want to take the class for sure.
Yeah.
But
in order for something to be certified, there has to be a recognition of the certification.
Right.
So,
who's going to recognize it?
Within the photo industry, JCristina would have to be a recognized source of education and all that stuff. I mean, like when you're an accredited school, a college or something like that, that's a different circumstance. I mean, I went to college. I got my degree in art, graphic design and stuff. So it's like that means something to somebody because of the school. So unless the industry knows JCristina brand of education and stuff, an actual certification
they wouldn't know.
Difficult. And that's the same thing like within the WordPress space. I've thought about it as well, because there's a lot of people teaching WordPress out there, a lot of people that are really good, but there's no type of certification in it. There's no, you have no way of knowing the skill set that somebody has.
You just don't know.
Somebody could come to you and say, oh yeah, I'm a WordPress expert. And then you give them a basic task and they don't know how to do it.
Right.
If they say I'm certified by so-and-so, like with Google's partner program, when you are a certified Google partner,
right,
as a buyer of their service, what they've gone through, the training they went through, there's the value that
so
has.
You know what? So I want to ask this. Would people rather have a class, let's say, on photography at getting the shot, let's say, And I always say getting the shot, because the difference between a amateur, a pro-am, and a professional is a professional will get the shot in any situation. No matter how shit the lighting is, they will get the shot because they
Yep.
understand what is going on with the camera, and they're not having to rely on the camera to do it for them. Okay,
Yep.
I can get deep into that. I'm not going to. But is it better to put together, like a book type of thing, or is it better to put together a series of 10 videos and breaking it down into the different categories where people can go maybe behind a paywall and now watch all of these videos? What do people like today more? I personally like video, but like I was hired by the folks over there at Serif, the people that make Affinity Photo, Affinity
Yep.
Designer, Affinity Publisher, to do an educational series, an educational program on, I think it was photo, yeah, Affinity Photo. And what I did is I did a photo shoot, and then I showed how to go from a photo shoot to actually creating a work of art, basically, and pulling, the girl off of a background and putting her on the top of a mountain and all this kind of stuff. And it was really received well. And so,
Yep.
yeah, I think that I can do that. It might be fun to do. Like I said, writing the book over there was a lot of fun too, but I enjoy the videos, I think, more because I can have that communication, I think, a little bit easier. And if people know me from doing this and they've watched the 800 videos that I have online, thousands and thousands of hours, they know kind of my personality, and they know like when I'm being sarcastic or if I'm kind of like, whatever. And if they like that and they like the means that I communicate, thoughts, then yeah, it might be something to look into. I don't mind that.
Yeah. The common thought today with, the tools that are available, is paid for courses. You have the website technology, you either have SaaS products or again, you could build something into a WordPress site. You build your courses, you have your intro, your steps, your test, and you pass the test, you pass that module, and you move on to the next one. And that
Yeah.
methodology works great. It is a ton of work to create that.
Oh my God.
I've built out a
Lots.
couple of these sites for clients, and there's a lot of work. I mean, building out the site portion of it is involved enough, but creating the content, creating the curriculum is a lot. But I mean, if you're dedicated to it, their courses are really powerful.
Right.
This guy that you and I both have watched for years, Pat Flynn, he's kind of like an online entrepreneur, passive
Right.
income type of guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a huge following and stuff, but he's all about courses. He loves the courses. He puts a lot of time into them. And then what he did is he built a paid for community that kind of supports the courses,
Right.
but it supports the company. So he's now a company. He's no longer a business of one. He's got employees, and they manage this community. It's a paid for community, and I think right now it's like $100 a month. So for people that are really dedicated and really want to learn from these experts, they're paying for this, but they're not
Yeah.
paying for specifically the education within the community. They're paying for the interaction within the community, the brainstorming, the
Right.
mastermind groups, let's say, and the access to these experts. And I
Yeah.
think access to the experts is what people really want.
I was
If they have a question or something.
Yeah, I was just going to do a video on something that I think is very important. It was very important to me, and it took me forever to figure this out. And, I always like making videos that are helpful and that people can actually use. And now that people are uploading videos more often, I always get, these videos are so big, I can't upload them. I have a hard time with them. I can't, once I save them out. A software that I use for just smashing the hell out of these videos that you see on my channel is Handbrake. And I was thinking about doing a video and walking people through my process of handbraking stuff so that
Yeah.
I can upload it in a timely manner, number one, with next to no degradation to the video, next to none, where
Yep.
you wouldn't even know that it's compressed, but it's literally half the size.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the idea of that bridging of the digital divide that I talked about, where Elon Musk, I think, is bridging that digital divide, where a lot of the ISPs and the cell phone folks out there that are just been, the fat cats just taking all of that money that supposedly they supposed to be using to bridge the digital divide by bringing high-speed fiber and whatnot to the homes of rural America, which they're not doing. Whereas now Elon Musk is with his Starlink. There's people like myself that are literally just a stone's throw from the city that have fiber a stone's throw from them that they just won't run it. They won't stick a node out there.
Yep.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And they're getting paid continuously, these subsidies. But anyways,
Yeah.
coming back, full circle, the idea of, him actually bringing this, I think that whole digital divide that has happened, I think that also holds true with video. There's a lot of folks out there that I talk to that are in countries that have, problem with data, let's say, and they cannot, they can't watch a 4K video.
No.
They can't watch sometimes a 1080 video. They're watching, 320, 480, 640 or something. And that's
720 if they're lucky.
720, and that's if they're lucky. And most of the time they can't do that. So
Yep.
by compressing these videos and putting them up there, I think is doing everyone a service. It does you a service because you can get it out there quicker, but then also the people that are watching it, now it's compression upon compression, because then of course YouTube compresses the hell out of it too. So, but the videos, obviously they can look they can look a little better on my channel, but for the most part they look pretty damn good considering.
Yeah.
Some of these videos, just as a side note, are when they're done for a 30-minute video, they might be like 4 gigabytes. And when I go to upload them, they're 700 megabytes. 4 gigabytes, that's 4,000 megabytes to 700. Just to give you an idea of that compression and how, it looks, and it still looks fantastic. Fred's Model 3N, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the contribution. So, for me, I really do. I like the idea of being able to give back to the community, however we do it. Let me see. Fred says, "Don't use my DSLR camera. I just use my phone." And yeah, Fred, a lot of people today feel that the phone is good enough.
Yeah.
The only problem that I have, and I think you're probably the same, is like, for example, like when I go to a football game for my son, if I use my iPhone and I capture these images during the day, they look pretty damn good. I can recognize my son, from the blob. But if I do the same type of coverage or same type of recording at night, the phones and the sensor size, they cannot handle it. And then what happens is the stuff looks like crap. I feel like the phones, Fred, are very similar to way back in the day when we went to, from medium format, way back in the 20s. It was basically medium format 120. And then it finally went down to like this tiny, tiny, tiny film. What was it? What was the film that we used to use? It was like literally the size of like a pinky nail.
Remember the
110.
Kodak?
I think it was 110, right? 110. It was like this big.
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes that the photos that are being made for the last 5-10 years, that when we go and review them back in 20 years, we're like, God, they really look like crap. I wish I could see my grandmother a little bit better than that, during blowing out her candles or something, So,
Right.
I mean, I do think that the phones are getting to a point where they're so good that they are good enough for the majority of purpose, but I still think that there is a real use for a point and shoot. And the problem though with that is there's no more point and shoots. It's like all of the, like Nikon, for example, they got rid of all of their point and shoots. They don't make them anymore, right? They're like, we're not making any money with them. We're not going to make them anymore. So there's not a lot left out there. So what do you do at that point? You can't pocket, like this thing, like let me throw this one.
No.
Let me throw this 1D in my pocket. I mean, or even like this, the new camera that I just got, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, we can pop off this, little adapter, and now you have something that looks like this. I mean, it's pretty light, and that's with a battery in it. It's pretty light. Take a battery out, it's really, really light. But I mean, yeah, it's okay, but you can't pocket it. You can't. It's very hard to carry. So that's why a lot of times, myself included, I might go to Disney, which I don't anymore because they're asses. But when we would go to Disney, we would, I would sometimes not even bring a camera. I would bring my phone, but then later on, I'm like, just shoot myself for not bringing like a small point and shoot. Like this ZV-1, it's awesome for that. It's pocketable. I'm recording right now with it, or I'm streaming live with it. It does a great job. So, there's something to be said about a proper camera for sure. And David Sutton says a Kodak 110. Yeah, it's like, honest to God, if you look at the film on it, it is like your pinky nail. That is what you get. Whereas like our great grandparents, their images were like direct prints, and the film is 120. It's this big. Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you remember the Kodak disc cameras?
Yes.
They had like 15 shots on them or something like that. And the negative was so tiny. You get the things back after you process the film. They're like little ninja stars. You just whip them around.
And you can put it through. Yeah, absolutely. We see there's one here that says, Yadman says, yes, the 110. Crappy photos. My Kodak is I remember. So the 110 alone was, I think, one of the things that were, I would say, a detriment. Okay, so I'm old, right? So
me too.
I remember my parents back in the 70s taking pictures of me, and if I go and look at these pictures now, because they were all with this 110 garbage, I mean, they look like complete crap. I mean, it looks they're yellow. The negatives are just complete shit. I mean, they're literally this big. I mean, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. But I don't know. Let me see. It says, what about? Let me see. Eka says, what about the RX 100 series? Awesome. It's the same thing as like the ZV-1. I mean, I think they're great. I think Sony's got it right when it comes to that, and a lot of people do carry Sony around. If you go overseas, like if you go to Japan, probably the number one camera right now is probably Fuji or Olympus or something, because people like the pen, the Olympus, the old Olympus pens. I mean, they're small. They just did the job. They're micro four thirds, but they still did a good job. They're still small sensors, but there's a purpose for them. Once again, like I was talking about before, everything is purposeful, right? There's no one camera that's just perfect for everything, period. Let me see here. Wolfian Photography says, funny enough, when I got up in the Scottish mountains with my photo equipment, the R5 Action 2 Mavic Air, I'm always surprised by the candid ones that were taken with the phone, right? With an A52. So yes, and that's what ends up happening. And that's why, what was it? Who did that series? Chase, was it Chase Jarvis that did that? The best phones like in your pocket, or no, the best camera is the one with you in your pocket.
With you,
or something.
Yep.
And the whole idea at that point was iPhoneography that started getting big, where people would just pull out their iPhone and just take a shot. And later on, they're like, if I didn't take the shot with the iPhone or with your Android phone or whatever, I would have missed the shot.
You wouldn't have had anything. Yep.
It's better to have it than not have it at all, obviously. And like you're saying, you have an R5 that costs you $5,000-6,000, and you're not taking that out and you're using like a phone. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Now, my DSLR pretty much stays in my bag in my cabinet unless I have a purpose for it. All the phones are done with the iPhone, and I'm shooting an old iPhone. I want to get at this point, I'm kind of waiting for the 14 because it's not that far out. But the Samsung S22, for example, I mean, the imagery that's coming out of that camera is phenomenal. The video, as well as low light, is just amazing. But I mean, you're only going to be able to get just so much out of a tiny sensor. So if you're really looking to do photography, I feel you do need a camera. You know, if you're
Right.
looking to capture a moment, your phone is a great tool.
Right. Do you know what just happened, guys? You remember I did a video. If you've been here for a while, hopefully a lot of you have. I did a video about censorship. And I talked about Elon and how, buying Twitter, I think, is a positive thing. Trevor and myself, we had at one time 20,000 followers on Twitter.
Yep.
And then we started pulling away from it because it turned into a broadcast, right? And then all of a sudden it was like very censored. Like you couldn't say shit anymore, right? What just happened, very interesting. A few seconds ago, I said that, I think that Disney is ass. The people are asses over there. And just for some of the stuff they do is I mean, let's just say Walt would twist and turn in his grave if he would see some of the stuff that they're doing. But that being said, Stewart wrote, he was laughing basically that I said that Disney would, they were asses. And that statement that I released, and you can see it in the comments, I had to release it. So real time, YouTube doesn't like that. I don't like you that I don't like Disney, or that I'm saying something negative about Disney, right? So
Or the word asses, it was just flagging.
yeah,
the word,
but it wouldn't flag me, but it flags just the comment, which I think is really interesting. I think it's very interesting, and this is one of the things that I was talking to you guys about earlier in that previous video. If anyone would make a comment that had anything to do about the V, not for victory or the other word, anyways, the V, it would immediately pop up and say, "Do you want me to release this?" I'm like, "Just release it." Yeah, they could. Can't they just say whatever they want to say? And the answer to that is no. You can't.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Anyways, that's just a little vent because we're live, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, Stuart, that's how this stuff goes down these days. Things are not the way it used to be. We used to be able to just have like open conversations about just stuff. And I'm someone about as middle as it gets, right? I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm a thinker, and I listen to everyone's crap. And then I discern what I kind of do my due diligence, and then I decide. I don't follow any specific ideology. So when I do say something, it's like that's just my thoughts and that's it. And I hope people can understand that. And if we have like a debate on it, I'm welcome. I think it's fantastic. That's the whole idea. That's why we're here in the U.S., right? So that we can basically have conversations that we couldn't have in other countries. Now, I'm first generation American. So, my relatives come from overseas. My mother was in Germany and had to get smuggled out of Germany back in the early 40s. You know what was going on back then, right? So, just to give you a little bit of this, obviously we're live, background of me, so, she wasn't able to say nothing, and they had to have that certain person that looked like this, right? A picture of him as you walked in their house on the right-hand side, or you'd be taken away, right? So there's a lot of crap that people here in the U.S. don't realize, and they don't get it on how important it is to be able to have open communication. But anyways, I don't want to get into it because I'll get into it pretty deep, but I'm not going to do that here live. But regardless, say what you want to say, and if something comes up and it asks me to release it, I'm just going to release it unless it's something vulgar or something really nasty or something. So that's the way I have been with this channel since day one. I think that's very important. So anyways, let me see here. Let's see if there's any other questions that come through here. We have John says, my Google Pixel 5 takes really good photos and video. I hear the Pixel 6 is even better. Yeah, a lot of people are buying these Google Pixels, and they're really liking them. I would love to see one, Google, send me one. I want to try this damn thing out. I've been using this, the iPhone for so long that I just keep on buying these things. sometimes you feel like you're following like the dogma, right? You just constantly go down that path. But so I use the iPhone a lot, but I hear the Google Pixel is absolutely awesome, and the cameras on the Google Pixel is great. And it seems like John agrees with that. Let me
Yeah,
see.
Fred asked what the name of the software again that you use for your compressing your videos. So that's
Okay,
Handbrake.
yeah. So Handbrake is it. Let me go ahead and do this. I'll go and share my screen. Let me see with you. Handbrake. So this way, you download the right thing, because there's some fake stuff out there, and I don't want to send you to like the wrong place. Let me go ahead and bring up my screen here. Is it up here? Yes, it is. Handbrake. This website uses cookies. Yeah, whatever. So you see this little pineapple here? This is Handbrake. So the website is Handbrake, HANDBRAKE.FR. This is the software right here. Now, it's free. I've been using it for probably about 15 years. I don't know. I would love to know, when did this first come out? It had to be like, just, I don't know, like a long, 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 long time ago. But
Yeah, we've been using it a long time.
it just does a really good job. The thing is you really need to know how to set it up. Okay. It's all about the settings. If you don't know the settings, you're just going to it's not going to be helpful. So I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to do a breakdown on what settings to use, how to use it, when to use it, why to use it, because I think it's very powerful for people that are, it doesn't matter where you're uploading. Let's say if you're uploading to TikTok, or you're uploading and you're not using your phone, you're actually, or you're uploading to Instagram and you're actually doing an edit and then uploading. It's nice to be able to take a 4 gig video like I do, and then bring it down to 700 megs, move that to your phone, and then kick it up into the cloud or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on that, because I think a lot of people will get benefit from it. Let's see, anything else come through here?
Yeah, Handbrake is good for file conversion too, saving it to different files. You can even use it to compress audio, like MP3s, right?
Right.
Or if you take a WAV file, you can make an MP3 from the WAV.
Right.
If I remember.
Yeah, there's so many different things that you can do with it, and it's very, very powerful for free.
Yeah.
I just, it's open source. I am a Linux guy, so I know Linux inside and out. Unix, way back in the day, I used to be a programmer, system administrator. I used to run a rack right next to Bell Atlantic's rack in the CO, the central office down in Boca Raton. So like, I've been doing a lot of computer stuff. I had a computer software company for 13 years. So that's why this channel is Tech too, because I'm a geek, I'm a tech guy. I'm going to be doing, so I did a show with my wife to bring her on board, just so that, you guys can see her and you get, where I'm coming from, and how much.
That was a good one.
Yeah, how much of a pain in the ass she is. It's perfect.
She gives you a lot of shit.
I love it. Like, I wouldn't have it any other way. But
No.
Do you guys want to see more of that? I'm thinking about doing more with my wife, so that you guys get an idea of like, what do we do? So she can't talk about what she does as much. She is a licensed cosmetologist. She is an MUA for a TV celebrity. So once again, NDA stuff. So we can't really talk about as much of who, but we can talk about like what we do. And then we can talk about like, God, hundreds of projects that we've worked on together many years back and stuff. So it might be fun. I might, if you guys want to see that, definitely in the comment area below this video, let me know, and I'll bring my wife back on with me. Because I had a lot of fun with it, and people had a lot of, we had conversations back and forth. It was really cool. Definitely
It's good.
cool.
You have that one video you did years ago of that fashion shoot where there's shots of her in the background doing the makeup.
Oh yeah. Wow,
No,
that was a long time ago.
2012, man. We did a lot in
you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was a lot heavier back then.
Yeah, I was crazy.
I remember that day. You guys are all wearing your coats and everything. It was December and it was like 30 something degrees in the morning. You guys are dying. And here I am from the Northeast. I'm down there in
All
December.
right,
I'm
so
going,
we're in
great.
Miami, Florida. It doesn't supposed to be 27. All right, okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, my blood, like I have some uncle, I have some cousins in Connecticut up north and in upper, in New York, New Jersey, up that way, and so I would visit, and my blood is just not. It is not. I have like island blood now. I've been in Florida way too long. I
Yeah,
can't.
yep.
It's like 50 some degrees. I'm cold. All right, I'm cold. And then
It warmed up
you
back
guys
at-
come down like during the winter, and the damn ocean is like, 72 degrees. I couldn't even get in.
Oh yeah,
I
we're
would,
like, ooh, this is a bathtub.
oh my god, I would lose my manhood.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
part of the cooler
Jesus.
water. Yeah.
Yeah, I could not do that. I don't know. That's all you. I see like Canadians will come down too, and they're like just jump in like Jesus God. They're like Eskimos, snow bears, some kind of like some shit. I don't know. So let's see. What else we have here for comments? Let's see. What's the name again of your vlog software? Okay, so that's what we were talking about before. Then we have Wolvian. Let's see. Productive and constructive debate. Yes, essential for democracy. Absolutely, Wolvian.
Yeah.
You have to have a good debate. I mean, anyone that debates, should hope that they lose so that they can actually learn something.
Right.
So, but what happens is so many people are so stuck in their own, four walls. They can't see the forest for the trees, and they just won't get out and see anything. So there's just so much of that going on today. People it's just crazy.
The biggest thing that I have when it comes to expressing your opinion in business, and we've all seen the celebrities that get out there. We love celebrities. They're great actors and actresses. We love their movies, and then they get out in public and they start doing stupid things, and they start talking about the religions, and they start jumping up and down on couches, and it really makes you think differently of them.
Right.
And I have a good friend. He is very vocal. He speaks his mind and doesn't think twice about it. And he has, he's in an important position at a business. He's a sales guy too.
Right.
And I've always told him, I said, listen, if you want to speak your mind on Facebook and put your political viewpoints and stuff like that, that's great. Just don't be friends with any of your customers on your Facebook account.
No, it's true.
Because you don't want your opinions to affect your business unless you're one of those people of like, well, it's my opinion. If they don't like it, screw them.
Right.
Then that's great, but you're not going to be in business for very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not unless your business is catering to like-minded people. I mean, if you're a political commentator or something like that, then of course, you are a potentially polarizing personality, and that's your shtick.
And that, if that's your shtick, then that is what it is.
That's your thing,
Yeah.
So you want to do that, but when you're in business and you're out there on Facebook and you're, saying whatever about this political thing or that, those that don't agree will look at you in a different light.
Yeah.
And that could affect your business.
Yeah. And once again, it depends on, like where, if that's your shtick, then you go that way. If not, then not. That's, I've always, like with this channel, I've always been middle of the road. I don't really care. I don't, I do not follow any dogma. I hate dogma. I hate the idea of, and it doesn't matter what it is. I've always been like that. I don't like it. I don't do well with it at all. Following, being a lemming and following the norm, just following what is the accepted method, or let's say, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. It just makes me crazy, and I just won't do it. But let me see here. We got Yemen said, I really like the fact that you and your wife work on gigs together. It gave me some ideas to convert my girlfriend. Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think it's good. It really is good. And let me just tell you, so we just worked on a gig yesterday, and it was for a TV show. And anyone that is there, okay, anyone that's there does not know, unless they've known in the past, does not know that we are married for 28 years. Yes,
Right.
28 years. I think 28.
Yep.
Getting close to 30. I don't know, a lot of damn years. They don't know because we are professionals that I do my thing, she does her thing, and even in the movement, as we always have, as we're bringing talent on, set, and then she's, working on touch-ups and stuff, and we're kind of crossing paths. People still don't know because it's not important to us, and we have never ever conducted ourselves that way. People just do not know, and the only time they know is if we decide to tell them, and that is it. So I think that's very important too, that if you do work on, projects together, you really keep it very professional. I think that there's a lot of man and wife type of couples that work together that is just so apparent that they are, that, and it's just so, it doesn't work out as well, especially if you're in a company setting or whatnot. You really can't do that. It's all work, no play. People don't need to know nothing. You do you, I do me. And then, once we leave, we might go and get a drink together or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or the last time, go and get breakfast. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's just it. So, yeah, I think that's very, very, very important. So, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean,
You see a lot of public figures and celebrities. They don't even, they don't want it to get out there that they're married.
absolutely.
Not for security specifically either. I mean, although that probably comes into play.
It's very
But,
important. Very important.
when you have an attractive man or an attractive woman, and that's part of their persona, their public persona, you want to keep the mystery there. You want to keep the allure of the fans thinking like, ooh, that person is so hot. All of a sudden now they're married and it's like, crap.
Right.
They're married. I don't look at them the
Then
same
it is
anymore.
what it is. Yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, David. Congratulations on the 28 years. Yeah, it's been some time. I think it's like 29 now or not. If my wife was here, she'd probably hit me with her stiletto or something because I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's been a while. But being creatives in this industry is, it's positive and negative because, when you're in the industry, it's like feast or famine sometimes, unless you're in with a group. Like, so for me, she works for someone permanently, like, okay, full time. Me, and that's why I can do this channel, is I'm brought in continuously for different projects. So it could be a director of photography setting up, doing set design, whatever, lighting. It could be a camera op. It could be, a photographer for doing whatever it is, magazine, whatever. So I'm more flexible, let's say, and that's why I can actually be here doing this. Yesterday I couldn't because I was on set all day, right? So
Right.
that's why I reach out to you. I'm like, hey, Trevor, you want to do a live? It's been a while. I love talking to everyone and seeing where, getting people's ideas and be able to have this, one-to-one back and forth. Because I like doing these lives because if someone actually wants to come on, they can, and just have a conversation back and forth. Now,
Right.
you could also, like I said before, if you want to actually go live with us, like if you wanted to right now, matter of fact, I'm going to stick a link in here. Go to that link. That is the green room. There you go. Click on that. Add in your camera, add in your audio device, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be a phone even. And I should be able to bring you live with us. And then we can just kind of chat. I think it's cool. I've never done it yet. I keep on, threatening. But yeah, if someone wants to do it, jump in there and we'll put you in here with us. But anyways, I do think if we look at some of the other topics that we were covering before when it comes to the camera and, the whole idea of this, originally when we started talking about using this EOS R in comparison to going with another 5D Mark IV that we have, some of the people I'm certain going to ask, why didn't you just get an R5 to replace, your 5D Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV? And once again, it's to save coin.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how much money you make today. You're making less due to inflation. People don't realize that. I mean, if you leave money in the bank today at 0% interest and with 6 to 7% inflation, I mean, you're literally losing 6 to 7% on your money just from leaving it in the bank.
Yeah.
So, you need to save money, and that's one of the things that I do a lot. And as a matter of fact, that's why I did this whole mic thing. Between the RE20 and this newer, and I did the small rig, and I did a bunch of different mics. I did that another mic back there. I did this because I was trying to show people that if you need a mic, you don't need to buy, that Shure SM7. You can get, or an RE20 or something. You can get a mic that's 1/10 of the cost, and if you have the knowledge of post-production, using compression and EQ, you'll be able to get a result that's pretty damn close without having to put all that outlay and money. So I'm always trying to save people money, and when I do stupid stuff, instead of hiding it, I tell people so they don't do the stupid stuff. That's like my goal. Don't do stupid crap like me, and this is what I did.
Learn from my mistakes. Yeah.
Let me see. Dolby Photography says, too shy. I'm comfortable behind, but not in front of the camera. Yeah. So starting this channel and doing this stuff, I mean, I wasn't comfortable doing this for quite some time. I remember when we first started doing this. So this channel is 2 years old. Right, year and a half, 2 years old, whatever.
No, your channel?
No, I'm saying when I started doing this full time, like not full time, but when we stopped doing DPC, when was that?
Well, we stopped in October of 2017.
Okay, so
it's
but
like
when did I
now.
start putting like the content?
You started doing it daily or more regularly. In 2017, it was probably the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, when you were producing multiple videos per week.
Right. So figuring about 4 years ago. So before that, for about 6 or 7 years, Trevor, who's on here with me now, we put together Digital Photography Cafe, and we have hundreds and hundreds of videos on there before. So when we first started, everything that we did was scripted. He had his lines, I had my lines, and we would do this thing. It was the most awkward crap that you've ever seen, right? And that's kind of like how we started. But, oh, wait a second. I see Stuart, are you coming in there? I see you over there. I'm going to see if I can bring you on. So hang in there, Stuart, hang in there. But anyways, it was the most awkward thing like ever. And finally, we started getting better, and you do it over and over and over. And then after a while, you're not really talking to a camera anymore. You're actually physically talking to people, and you feel like they're there, and you get to know like what they're thinking, let's say, or wanting to ask, and you're kind of replying to it. So it's definitely an interesting thing. I'm going to try, Stuart just came into the green room here. I'm going to see, now this is the first time ever, guys. If it takes a big crap, don't blame me. I'm going to try this and see if this actually works. This would be cool. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this to happen. Hang in there, Stuart. Let's see. Interview. Does it work? And it doesn't. Does it? Holy God. Oh my goodness. You're there.
Excellent.
How's it going, my friend?
Is it all working? It's good. It's good. You have to forgive the studio's in a mess because
I can see him on screen, but I don't hear him.
Doing all my desktop, so I'm having to sand it down and restain it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's the yearly maintenance you got to do on these desks to make them look nice, But
you know what?
Yeah, I broke my light stand as well today.
Did you? Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make sure that your audio is coming through. Hold on
Okay.
1 second. I don't think it is. Let me see. All right. So now it should. Okay, wait a second. Trevor, just say something real quick.
Hello, hello.
Okay, you're there. That's good. Let me see. Let me shut this off. All right, talk one more time, Trevor.
Hello. Still
Okay.
here.
Stuart, you talk for a second.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. So
Good.
supposedly, everyone should be on. So, guys, if you are listening, if you're watching, let me know if you can see and hear both Trevor and Stuart. Let me know. Let me know.
I can't hear Trevor. I can only hear you at the moment.
So
Okay.
I can
Um,
hear
don't
him
know if I'm doing
and
something
see
wrong.
him on YouTube, but in our window, in the Ninja window, I
I can see
cannot
him on the
see or
YouTube,
hear
but
him.
obviously that's
Okay.
30
All
seconds
right.
behind our conversation.
Okay, that's fine. So let me try moving him over. Hold on just a second. Bear with me here. I'm going to transfer him from the green room into the regular room. All right. Let's see. All right.
Ah, there he is.
There you go. Can you hear each other
How you
now?
doing? Yep.
Okay, guys. So I'm not professional. All right. So this is the first. This is the first time that we're actually trying this, and so I'm going to have to go and stick the new link in there so that you actually show up on the YouTube on the channel itself. So bear with me 1 second, and this is cool. This is good. We can do this more often. I like this. This is good.
Yep.
All right.
People are
So
saying in the
Some fun.
chat they can see and hear us, so that's good.
that's excellent. 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 How are you doing, Stuart? So,
I'm good.
you know what? Real quick, people know who I am. I'm just going to go and grab another cup of tea. Do me a favor, Trevor. Tell everyone who you are, and then after that, Stuart, you tell everyone who you are, so you know, because they know me. I'm just like the idiot behind the camera all the time. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab my tea.
All right.
Go right ahead, Trevor.
All right. So, hey, Stuart, we'll start with you first because I think everybody knows who I am. So, why don't you introduce you, what you do, what your business name is, and the type of photography you're into?
Right, my name's Stuart Wood. I am a macro photographer and YouTube content creator from the UK. So I do lots of videos on photographing insects and things like that. And it's just literally built around my hobby. My hobby is basically my business.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's a great way to do it. If you could turn your hobby into a business that you love. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I went to school for graphic design and photography many moons ago, and I was able to, it's something I loved. I worked in the field for 20 plus years, and then I started my own business doing it. And I love coming into my office every day and doing this
Mm.
work. Like I talk to my kids about it and, planning for careers and stuff and like, what they want to do. And I said, whatever it is you want to do, you want to make sure you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going to a job that you dread every day.
Yeah.
It's a rough way to live.
And always aim for what you want to do as well. I mean, I remember when I was in college, just way over 20 years ago now. We're talking, let me think, 97, around there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a project come up for the art, and it was like basically make your own something up. It could be anything. You could design and make something yourself. And I approached the tutor and I said, what I want to do is I want to crack open Lightwave on my computer at home and design a spaceship that then can be composited into scenes or animated for like films or TV. And instead of the reaction of, oh wow, that would be great, let's get that done, they turned around and said, oh, you can't do that because it will never take off.
Yeah.
Now look at us.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I think I landed on the one course where the tutors were just not very enthusiastic about different approaches. They were all just right down the middle. It's got to be done this way, it's got to be done this way. I don't like things done the way everyone else does it. I want to do it differently. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I thought it was a brilliant idea. Little animation, cut to music. I was listening to Hans Zimmer at the time, so I was learning about music composition and all that. And they literally just blasted me out and said no. In the end, I left the course and went and did my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who's out there who gets told don't, well, not don't, but you can't do something, Don't listen till you've at least tried it, because obviously you can't
Right.
just go out and do anything. You are going to fail. And I did put in the comments, I said, if you haven't failed, you haven't really tried. You know,
Right.
because you have to
Agreed.
try. You have to fail when you're trying, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So yeah, if anyone gets told, oh, you can't do that, just ignore them and try it anyway.
No,
But at
that's
least
true.
then I can say at least I've tried it before, you know, I get old and go, I wish I tried it.
I think
Yeah.
creatives in general, right? Creatives in general never. I mean, not never, but most of the time, they kind of follow the beat of their own drum and not follow other people for the most part, because they are creatives, right? We see things, I think, different than the analytical brain. So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, you're failing all the time. You're not, most of the time, it's not working. I mean, I've made so many different products, and some of them failed and some of them worked. I have like the focus pyramid, autofocus lens calibration tool that I created on how to, and it actually will calibrate your DSLR camera. Well, that did really, really well, and it's been around for like 12, 13 years.
I have
So
one in my drawer
you
right
just
now that
never
you sent
know.
me.
Yeah.
And although I've gone over to Mirrorless now and they don't need calibration, I'm still actually using your calibration pyramid to do depth of field testing on macro lenses. So you focus it into the
There you
middle
go.
as you would do when you're calibrating your lens, but then I can see the depth of field and I can see it on
Right.
each individual lens to see, is there a difference in depth of field?
I'm
Which one's
getting an
sharper?
echo.
Brilliant.
Does someone have their speaker on instead of their headphones?
No, not me.
Huh.
No, not as far as I know.
I don't hear an echo on my end.
I haven't actually got any speakers.
Really?
So.
That's interesting. Let me see here.
Guys in the chat, are you hearing an echo?
That's
It could
very
be
interesting.
a localized thing. Yeah, I was there when Joe was prototyping
there
the
you
focus pyramid, and he went through a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
how are
imagine
you
so.
doing? I see someone in the green room. Nice. Let me see. I'm gonna try bringing you over to the other side. Hold on, just a second. Transfer. All right. Let's see. There we
I'm
go.
a bit jealous of your background, Trevor.
Nah, it's my
There you go.
my man cave for sure.
I've only got the one. Look,
It's got so many different things.
I've only got that one.
Yep.
although it does do this though. Let me just there we go. Lovely.
The backgrounds.
Nice.
The backgrounds. My
Yeah,
goodness.
there you go.
So there's no echo now. We're good.
The chat is saying no echo.
Okay. You know what that probably is? Let me see. Yeah, it was probably someone didn't have a headset in. That's possible, or it was bleeding through or whatnot. Oh, let me see. The Wolvian Fatari says looks like a NASA control room. Welcome. So
With all the screens.
let me see. I'm gonna see if I can switch out Stuart. Just hang in there just a second. I'm gonna see if I can get him in here. Hang in there, because there's no more little. I got no more places. I'm gonna have to actually make one that has like. I'm gonna do like, maybe I'll do like what the hell was it? The Brady Bunch or something? Remember when they did like that whole entire thing with all the people? That'd be awesome. Hold on, let me see if
Yep, I
get
can
you in
look
here.
down at Stuart. He's right underneath me.
All right, Stuart, hang in there just a second. Let me see. See if this actually works. Look at that. How are you doing? You're on
Can you
YouTube.
guys see me?
I see you. I see you.
Well, I just got on just to see if you can add more people to help you troubleshoot this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, so welcome. So
Thank you very much. I just want to say I'm a big fan. I just watch your SpaceLink videos because it's helped me a lot. I have SpaceLink now. I also installed my router and mesh part of the router, which is great. The Synology.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And,
What is your name in the list here?
I'm Fred Model 3M.
There you go, Garrett. There it is. Gotcha. So you actually use this. So did you end up getting a Starlink?
Oh yeah, I got it about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to get.
And it's all working.
It's working great. I actually, believe it or not, guys, I switched everything off of Cox cable, and I'm running on SpaceLink alone. I'm running maybe 4 or 5 iPhones and iPads, and my TV's wired, my
Uh-huh.
computer. And I'm a gamer, so I got that hooked up with Wi-Fi, and everything's working great. I'm about to call Cox Cable and shut it down.
Yeah. So my recommendation is don't shut down your Cox cable for at least a couple of months. And the reason being is I hate to tell people to spend money on something that you don't need, but I just, it is just out of beta, and God forbid something was to happen, of course you can always go back to Cox cable, but I would just wait, just give it like a month or something. Just wait a little bit and make sure that everything is really running good. And you've made any kind of changes that you want, make those changes first, just in case it goes down. What some people are having is that when they go and factory reset their modem or their Starlink, all of a sudden it'll say, sorry, you don't have service anymore. And then you have to get with them, and there's a lot of nonsense that gets involved with that. So you don't want that to happen to you. So once you get everything the way you want it and everything's perfect, then kill Cox. For me, it's killing AT&T. So sick of these people. So, but yeah, no, it's good. It's definitely good. Well, I'm glad that you came on. That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is probably for the next one, I'm going to make the YouTube set here to have maybe 4 windows or 6 windows, because right now we have the chat, so we can only have 3 people. If not, I'd be able to bring Stuart in 2, but I would have to dump him on top of the chat, which doesn't make sense. So I'll have to make things, different. But yeah, that would be fun. I want to do that, because then maybe we can have kind of like a round table and have a discussion on whatever it is, whatever the topic is for the week, because sometimes there's some crazy topics that come out there. And if there is something really good that happens, then we can, talk about that too. But I'm so glad that you have that Starlink and it's working for you, and you've been watching those videos I've been putting out. So it's been going over pretty well.
Oh, it's been awesome. And then check this out. Things like I'm pretty tech savvy, but like things like DNS, I didn't know anything about that. I saw your video. Before you know it, I'm using the quad 9s, and I'm running better.
Sweet,
So
sweet.
So it does work, buddy.
That's awesome. That is really, I love to hear that, because I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the Starlink, and that's why I've been trying to make it very easy to understand the stuff. It doesn't, even I do that with photography, but with the Starlink especially, because it is techy, and sometimes the tech is just hard to grasp because it's never been taught to people right. So you look at it and it looks like it's, it's not basic, but if you boil it all down, it's pretty basic. So I'm glad that you're getting some value out of it. That's awesome. I'm going to keep making these things and, see how it goes. I was actually thinking about making a channel just for it, but this channel is so mixed between tech and video and photo anyways. I don't know if I have to. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening.
The gentleman with the glasses and the dark hair. I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to log off so you could.
Sure.
But I just wanted to help you put more screens on the air to see if it worked. Yeah. You said you had lost a lot of weight. What did you do? Did you do keto or something?
No, I did cancer.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was back in late 2013. I was diagnosed with oral cancer, and it was a shock, to say the least. Not being a smoker or a drinker, I didn't chew tobacco. It was just one of those freak things that happened. So December that year, I had surgery. The beginning of 2014, I went through radiation for 6 weeks. And, when I was first diagnosed, I was like 207. And I got down to 153. So I lost, like 50 pounds of weight, which I was not big enough to lose 50 pounds of weight. So, no. It was a slow go. It took me about a year to kind of get back up to a physical condition and to put some weight back on. But the other downside to it is it jacked up my voice. So if I've shared a link, Joe, in the chat to our DPC channel. So if you guys go back and you watch any videos prior to 2013, you'll hear the difference in my voice. It was completely different. Now it's really raspy. I'm constantly having a drink. And sometimes it's a chore for me to do these live things where I'm talking for a while.
Yeah.
But, I just, you power through. I drink Joe got me on tea, so I've been drinking tea, and that kind of helps a little bit,
Yeah.
But
I'm like people say, oh yeah, do you watch that guy, that tea guy? It's so funny. Like I have like some of my son's friends. They'll be like, does your dad have any merch? So kind of something. So it's funny. It's funny. Well, thank you so much, Fred, for that. For helping out here. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all you do. I love to hear other people's thoughts, and it just inspires me to do more. And knowing that it's helping someone. I mean, that's what we do here. Stuart has his own channel also over there, doing photo stuff. You got to go and take a look at his. You should put a link, Stuart, in the comment area so that people can see your stuff too. He does great, unbelievable work. So yeah, it's our idea is always to try to educate and to help people, and I'm glad that at least some of the stuff that we're doing here is so. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Just to let you know, I'm on the iPhone. I turned off the TV because of the echo, probably.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
That's probably why. But I'm going to log off, let you guys continue.
All right.
I'm glad that your gentleman there is still with us today after that cancer situation.
Thank you
so
much.
Take care, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Let's see. Stuart, you are back, Stuart.
Yes. Yes.
So that's fun. That is so much fun. That's great. That's great. Once again, thanks, Fred, for jumping on here. That's just great.
It seems to work great, doesn't it? You're gonna have to reconfigure your interface for four guests now.
Yeah. So exactly.
Well,
with OBS, it's always like a task to be able to do it, and I want the chat to be there too. So I'm thinking maybe we just do smaller thumbnails and make it so it's 3. And then maybe I'll do one that has 6 or something, or 5 or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on it. It's always an effort, to get it to run right. But
yeah,
I think that's great. That was very easy. I'm floored. I know I've been threatening to do that forever. Thanks a lot, Fred, for getting on.
Well, when I start doing my lives again and I have guests on, I know where to come for advice on setting it up, don't I?
Exactly right. Come to me and I'll steer you wrong. You know that. So anyways, guys, we should probably cut out here. We've been on here for quite some time.
Couple hours, bro. I'm getting hungry.
It's it's been a bit. We need to get out of here. It's lunch. We got to get off. But this is a lot of fun. And once again, being able to have these kind of conversations is just great, and be able to have people on and go back and forth and have this chat window going and people actually, conversing. I think it's great. It's really, really good. I think what I'll probably do, like you do, Stuart, is put it out there like a week in advance so that there's actually a lot of people that show up instead of 10, 20 people, Sometimes when I'll do that, we had, I think, 60, 70 one time. I think we had a bunch of people on here. So I think that'd be kind of cool too. A lot of people watch this stuff after the fact. Instead of live Memorex, recorded. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
But all right then. And you told everyone where you are. Did you put in the chat? Put a link, Stuart. Put a link.
He may not be able to send a link.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Oh, really? I just make it so that it doesn't look like a link, Or I'll just authorize it if it comes and asks me, because obviously there's certain words you can't say, there's certain things you can't do, But I'll just
I think YouTube
it.
actually filters links out automatically from non-moderators.
Yeah,
I'm going to try a direct link. I don't think it's going to work, but
that's all right. If not, just put a couple of dashes in there and then just say remove these dashes. That's fine too. Let's see. Thank you, Yemen, for being here. Appreciate all that. Dove in, and there was a bunch of people that showed up today. That's really, really good. We got Greg, thank you, Ron. Thanks everyone for kind of hanging out with us. Once again, this is longer. We were normally, so I said, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this only for, like an hour or something. And you know how that always happens, Trevor. it ends up being 2 real quick.
Yeah, whenever you used to say to me, "Oh, we'll pop on for half an hour," you always used to go, "Oh, I got 2 hours."
I'm an
Yeah,
ass. That's just it. That's just
Yeah,
it.
I
I
know.
got 2.
So
We
I
get
get,
on here, we could talk for hours.
yeah, I know. You see this? So this is it. Look at the channel. My God. That's crazy. Look at the, like, so if we go into videos, so this is the digital photography cafe show that Trevor and myself did. There you go. 247 episodes, bro.
Yep.
247 episodes. Look at this. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
You know,
And
I
we
mean,
were
it goes,
doing them consistently,
oh,
but we
yeah.
weren't doing them, like daily or anything.
No.
But
It was,
yeah, you
yeah, I
can
think it was like
see
once a week. I think we were doing them. So yeah,
once a week. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was a ton. That's it.
We stopped mainly because of me. Joe definitely wanted to continue moving forward with it, and honestly, so did I. But I have a web development company, an agency. That's what I do for a living. And 2017 hit, and I had started my business in 2010. So it took 7 years for me to really gain some good momentum. And all of a sudden I landed this big client, and they manage a bunch of companies, and all of these companies needed new websites.
Of
So the
course.
work was coming in fast, and I was just finding it hard to allocate a full day. I mean, because realistically, when Joe and I would do a show, we would get on like 10 o'clock in the morning, put our notes together, put together our research of what we wanted to talk about, record it, upload it, and before you know it, it's time to go get the kids from school. So, it really would take up a day. And I had just gotten to the point where I couldn't allocate a day. And we weren't making money per se from the show. So it was hard to justify doing it
Right.
as a part of the business.
Yeah, we were.
It was great for business because we both were able to elevate our careers through that podcast.
Yeah, we made money, Stuart, from literally going live from all of these different venues, and interviewing the CEOs and all the rest of these people, all of the different companies. So that's where we made the lion's share of what we made. So the YouTube channel was kind of like just like a place to have fun, and do it. And then Trevor, he ended up getting the oral cancer. It made it very difficult for him to be able to continue. And then he started doing all of his stuff too. Then I said, I really love doing this. So I said, I'm just going to make my own channel and see how it goes. And that's how the JCristina thing started. And I just been doing it ever since. I just really enjoy it. I mean, it's hard. I think, I bet me going and getting a full-time job somewhere where I just absolutely can't do it, I'm still going to do it. People don't realize the amount of work that goes into this kind of stuff. I mean, you do because you have your own channel, but
it's a ton of work.
Doing it all the time, and then having a full-time, and then going and doing other work, on location, and then having to do this literally when everyone else is sleeping. It's not an easy thing, but
No.
that's not me crying about it because I really truly enjoy it, and that's the big thing. A lot of people today, everyone wants to have a podcast. Everyone wants to be like a YouTube personality or some kind of influencer or something. They don't really get it.
Yeah.
And like after the first 6 months, right, then they get it. But before that, they don't get it. It doesn't work that way. It's not. It's very difficult.
My son came to me and said, "Dad, I want to start a gaming channel." I said, "You do you?"
Yeah.
And so I talked to him about the concept, and what he wanted to do, and we worked through it a little bit. And I said, now, with all of that said, it takes a ton of time.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
You could spend an entire day playing a game and then editing and uploading, and then nobody watches it.
You get 20 people that might watch it or whatever.
Yeah. And I said that can be really frustrating and disappointing. So you've got to be able to deal with that,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, you could spend several days or weeks planning a video, putting it all together, put all the B-roll together, polish it all off, and then like 10% of the audience watches it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and and then you slap something together within 4 hours, put it upload, and then it just takes off, and you're like,
Facts. Those
don't
are
get
the
it.
facts. It is
Yeah.
that.
You
So,
cannot tell what's going to take off and what's not going to take
and
off.
that
It's
is the
unbelievable.
saddest thing, honestly, Stuart.
Mm.
When you put forth, and you know that the worst part for me is when you know the content will help a good amount of people,
Yeah.
but it gets no traction and the good amount of people never see it. You feel like you've, wasted all of this time and effort, and it's not you, it's the algorithm. And
Yeah.
unless you are,
Yep.
a content creator or influencer that has the money to hire people that are managers, let's say, that know and follow the algorithm and watch what's going on and know thumbnails and know, wording and all the rest of this stuff, and they really got it down, it's kind of luck of the draw. And you just never know when something's just going to pop off. And then other stuff that you think, some of the stuff that I've done that are just so intricate, and I know that it could be so helpful to people, no one even knows that the video is even there. And that's because it's just never got, it's never got any traction. And that's my fault as much as it is the algorithm's fault, because I don't know how to get it to the masses. I don't know how to get it out to people.
You've got to put out content that YouTube wants, not what you want to put out.
Sadly.
It's like me. I'm gearing up now to do some outdoor videos finally after a couple of years. I've been stuck in the office, and I call them macro adventures. So I call them like macro adventures, season 3, episode 1. You put it out there, then the regular people that watch it, they'll watch it, but YouTube will never ping it off because it's called macro adventures, and no one is searching, I want to see what outdoor macro work is like. I'll type in macro adventures. It just doesn't work. And unfortunately, when I first started YouTube, the tags were the important part. So you can title your video
that's
whatever
all
you
gone.
want. And in the tags, you go macro photography, outdoor photography, such as, and people searching that will get pinged with that. Now it's the other way around. It's the titles that YouTube look at. So now I can't actually name my outdoor videos macro adventures. I have to name them something like macro photography outdoor for beginners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a little bit disheartening because you can't do what you want to do. You've got to do what YouTube wants you to do.
Right.
And unfortunately, until you get to a bigger channel size, you can't do what you want to do. Because when you get to the size of, say, I don't know, Peter McKinnon or something like that, then you do whatever the hell you want.
And then, but see,
our size, you can't.
But you know what I've
YouTube
noticed?
just penalizes you for it.
I got a message from someone, and then I'm going to call this anyways, but I got a message from someone, and they were doing research on some of the big channels, that man and the wife, the guy with the gray hair, and then then the guy with the big hair, and then, like a lot of the bigger photography channels, anyways, their views are down like 60%, like a ton. And I did a video talking about this. Are you guys, are people bored with photography, or what is going on? Why? I think people are just so inundated. And I was talking about lenses and stuff. And when I look at like my feed, which I research all the time to see what's going on, what's hot, what's not, this stuff is just a barrage of just bullshit. Literally just lens after lens. It's like, hey, we had a silver lens, now we have a black one. Oh wait, we got a white one, a specialty. The same damn lens, but different.
I've just changed camera things. What I've noticed as well, there's a trend going on at the moment where failure videos are doing very good.
What kind?
And my best failure, when you fail at something.
Yeah.
I put out a video last week, and at the moment it's the #1 video this year, and it's all about how I failed to do a video.
Right.
And I think it seems to resonate with people because when people see your failure, they see you as being human, normal.
Right.
And I've been looking at it, I'm thinking, I might put out more failure videos, because sometimes I'll go out and do a video outdoors or indoors, and I don't manage to get the shot I want, and I just bin the lot because I'm like, I didn't get what I wanted to get. But instead of that, I might just rename the video and just put it out there anyway, just to show the reality of this thing is that, half the time you don't get the shot.
Yeah, you just don't get it. Absolutely.
And I said to the wife, we was going to go out today, but the weather's miserable. And I said to her, I want to do an outdoor video. And I'm trying to rack up an idea. What do I want to do out of this video? And then I sat there and I thought, screw the title, screw what it's about. I'm just going to go out and just do photography, and she'll just follow me along and just document it,
Right.
whether I get a shot or not, and then just put the video together and just see how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would. You know,
unfortunately,
I want to
obviously,
hear. I want to hear from you. Does
yeah,
that work out, or does it just turn into nothing?
yeah,
you
I'll
know?
let you know. I'll let you know if it works
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Absolutely. I really would like to know because, you know, I just it's definitely odd. The latest on how things have been going when it comes to the
There's
algorithm
one
and all
thing
this
I have
stuff.
noticed is every channel I follow, all their views are down. So I suspect it's something to do with YouTube rather than people actually watching the content.
Maybe.
You
Yeah.
know, like there's I have noticed you know, sometimes it's like when someone puts a video out, you get pinged or it comes up on the front screen of YouTube.
Exactly.
When someone doesn't put out a video, I don't notice it, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
what I have noticed is sometimes YouTube unsubscribes me from channels.
Yep.
I've been
Yeah, and
getting
I'm sitting
I
there,
give
you know,
yeah.
3-4 weeks down the line, I'm like, I ain't seen a video from such and such. Yeah, and I go on there, and I'm like, I'm not
Yep.
subscribed. I'm like, why am I not subscribed? No,
Yep.
no
Yeah.
wonder I ain't seen it. I mean, the bonus of that is I get to watch their new videos all night long because I've got like a
Yeah,
full
you
week
got a whole, you
backlog
got
of
a
videos you got to catch
backlog.
up on.
No, but
And
that's one of the
yeah,
look, Stuart. That's one
yeah,
of the reasons why all of the content creators say subscribe. Click the bell
yeah,
notification, and then also click all after you click the bell,
yeah.
notification, because YouTube is broken, and they'll
Mhm.
fix it eventually, and that's just the way it is.
I'm not going to hold you to that one.
Well,
No.
I'm
It's almost
fingers
as bad as
crossed. I hope
Facebook.
they do. But
You get
but that's it. You get
yeah,
unsubscribed. I got people all the time. They'll write to me like, and they'll say,
yeah.
"Oh my God, you were live. I'm subscribed. I clicked all and everything. No, I never got notification that you were going to go live. I missed it." And it's like, why
I had
is that? Why is that?
I
I
mean,
don't
the
get it.
search thing is all over the place as well. I mean, I had somebody come to me asking me about a lens. Have I used a certain lens? And I said, yeah, I did a review on it. Did a search, still can't find it. Did a search on my channel, still can't find it.
Wow.
It's just broken, And if people can't find your content, they're not going to watch it. If they're not going to watch it, YouTube are not going to make money from it. Therefore, they're not going to push your content, and that's the issue.
You know what's
Yeah.
it?
Well,
The issue is all about money making,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then you get the other YouTubers that are clickbaiters, or the particular ones where I've swapped my camera again for the 4th time this year.
My God, I can't.
You know,
Well, one
the other
thing that
ones I'm on
I,
about, they get loads of views, and those are the ones that get pushed because they're getting views. Yeah.
Right.
the one
It's
thing that I,
like, I don't know. It's like if you drop something, if you break something, if you're changing brands, they're quite popular because everyone wants to know, oh, what you're changing to.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm not changing brands. No,
Yeah.
not for YouTube anyway.
What was that, Trevor? What were you saying?
the one thing I can say is that your website still has power.
Hmm.
And you had the only thing that we own out there in the webs here is our own website.
Yes.
That's the only thing that we have control over. So what I tell clients, I say, post your videos on your blog, on your website. Write a description about the video, what's in it. You don't need a transcript per se, although Google loves all the words. But by building the page, linking, embedding the video, linking to the video, creating the content around the video, the words, the text, and letting Google index that separately from a YouTube video, that helps with organic search.
Yeah.
The other thing you need to do is build that email list. And every time a video goes out or, whatever, within reason, you email your list and let them know, because that burst of traffic that you get with the initial launch of the video triggers the algorithm as well. So if you get a lot of views quickly, that will help to bump it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the process of rebuilding my website at the moment. Cut out a lot of the junk, cut out a lot of the crap in the background, and it loads really quickly. It's on a different server, so I'll just flip over the addresses when it's ready to go. I've got the mailing list all ready to go. It's all there. I've just got a few little minor things I've got to touch up, which I'm hoping to get done this weekend.
That's good. That's really good. I need to do the same thing. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I got to do the same thing.
Like I said, I broke my light stand this morning, so I'm waiting for parts to come to do that. Otherwise, I would have recorded a video today. But I thought I'll take the opportunity to restain my desk. So next time you see a video done here, it should be a nice Nice desk again, back to how it was when I first installed it.
Yeah, it's looking good. I just went full screen with you real quick, and I think
It's
it looks.
going to be.
I
I
think
mean,
it looks really
I've
good.
got a little test strip here that I've done, so you can see the difference between what it is now and then what it will be. That's what it was when it was first installed.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, because of daily use, it's all worn out.
Yeah.
It's going to be back, so I've got to redo it a little bit.
Yeah, I like it.
And yeah, so it should be all right then.
No, I like it.
You know,
Yeah, for
fix
sure.
little things like this. Now I've got a nick there, so obviously when I restain it, that'll help to cover stuff up. And
Yeah, guys, look at you got
nice.
you got to see. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me bring. Let me see if I can get Trevor's up there. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Will it go up? Will it? Does it do it? It does. Look at Trevor's background. He is the Marvel, or I guess no, superhero comic.
Toys.
Yeah, toys. Look at all this stuff.
Can I request Trevor to turn on a light so we can see it in more detail?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do
Excellent.
it.
Let me,
Go on, let's see this thing.
let me disconnect here.
There is so much back there. Like
Let me see.
look at that. I see R2D2 back there.
Does that help?
Yeah. Got Darth Vader, X-Wing. What we got? Stormtrooper, C-3PO. We've got Superman, Batman. Different incarnations of Batman as well. Well done.
Oh yeah,
Cowl.
yeah.
Oh, the cowl looks nice. Oh, that's Burton's cowl, isn't it?
That is the original
Tim Burton
1989 cowl. I bought that in 1989 for a costume I made.
Do we have a Batmobile back there?
No Batmobile, no.
See, I got the Batmobile here.
You got to get the old Batmobile too from the TV.
I can't get it.
I know that's a hard that's a hard one.
It's a hard one to get out of, you know. Yeah.
On the cabinet back there, I have Legos. I have an RC truck. I also have Gen 1 Transformers too.
Gen 1.
Gen 1. They were the OG, the metal ones. Now everything is plastic garbage, but I've got those, and I recently found all my Legos from when I was a kid. All the expert builder sets. I mean, they're called Technic now, and I got all those kits I want to put back together.
Yeah, don't talk to me about stuff like that. I had all the original Star Wars stuff from the 1980s, and you know, when I was a teenager, I set them all on fire because it was fun.
Oh my god!
Some of them was even unopened.
How
these
many
over here?
Thousands and thousands of dollars just went up in smoke.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can tell you now, the Ewoks burn quite well.
Oh, there you go. So I'll move my camera. On this shelf here are all my original Star Wars characters from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the X-Wing.
My
I got
not
the TIE
falling
fighter
smoke.
back there. Yeah. God.
What a numpty. If I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't have even opened them. I'd just sit there and say, that's a cash windfall one day. I'll cash that in one day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, all right then, guys. You know what? We're gonna call it here. It's been a couple hours. I think we need to let everyone go so they can go back and we can get some lunch and whatnot. But yeah, what time is it over there for you, Stuart? You're in the UK, so
it's 7 o'clock at night.
7 o'clock at night. All right. What do we got now?
Yeah.
We're at 2 here. So
it's 2 o'clock here.
All right. No, I just wanted to get
That's my lunchtime, man.
Yeah, I know. You need to go eat. I get it. I get it.
Pass out here.
I was eating my tea as you were talking. I sat there and I thought,
yeah,
he's gonna request people to come in. So I'm like,
that's right.
Get out the way quick.
Do it. Get in there. Exactly. That was really cool. We got Fred on there. We got Stuart. We got you in there. That's really good. I'm definitely going to create another window. Maybe I'll do something literally like an old retro game style type of window. It'd be kind of cool to do and be able to have a lot of different people on the channel and use this Stream Deck to maybe control it. So we'll see what ends up happening. But as I always say, thank you so much for being here. If you are watching this after the fact, down below this video, any kind of comments that you have, put them down here, and either myself or maybe the other two guys will answer them for you. So any kind of questions, if you like this kind of stuff, definitely let us know. Also, we'll try to do these every once in a while. I was originally doing this every Friday, but it just you know, sometimes things would come up and I couldn't do it. So I don't want to make a, you know, a specific Friday, and every Friday I'll be doing a TGIF type of recap of the week, but I would like to do that, but we'll see what ends up happening with it. Anything that you want me to talk about, as always, in the comment area below, let me know. Also, as I said before, if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, go check them out, and go over to my website, JCristina.com. All the photography tools I've invented over the many years you'll find over there, so go check those out, as well as my teas, and now some merch. So go and check those out. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and hanging out.
Yep, my pleasure.
Yep, no worries.
All right, guys.
See you next
Take care.
time.
We will definitely see
All
you
right,
on the
we'll
next
see ya.
one. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.
Take it easy.
All right.